Front Row MMA here at the UTC in Birmingham with UTC's resident and first of many, it would appear, UFC signings. Vaughan, you know, you've come back from another fantastic performance out in China. First off, how did it feel when they announced that win, the unanimous decision?
Amazing. It wasn't as good as, well, it probably was actually the Japan one, but yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
I worry about asking this question too because I'm sitting next to you. Look, if you'd lost this fight, would you have been in the UFC still? Was this a career? Was this kind of a career saver for you? Not a career in terms of MMA, but to continue to fight at the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, I had one fight left on my contract, and but you never know with the UFC. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of had that in my mind that this could be my last fight. So you know, I'm going to go out there and give it my all. I don't say I don't do that all the time, but I just had this different mind frame for this fight.
One of the things we noticed about the performance is, you know, you're a pretty laid back character, and in the cage this time, you know, against Nam Phan, you actually seemed, for the first time maybe in a few fights, to really be enjoying what you were doing, really sort of in the flow. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was the first time I felt comfortable, relaxed. You know, I wasn't really thinking about winning or losing. I was just in the moment of the fight right then and there. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't care about anything. Just I wanted to put my hands on him. That's it.
You know, you say you wanted to put your hands on me. You did that quite a lot, but you know, your footwork and movement throughout the fight seemed to be almost reinvigorated again. Was there a different? Did you have a different training camp, or was it just a matter of the mindset going in?
No, it was all the same. I mean, my fight camp was even shorter. Do you know what I mean? It was like half a fight camp, but that didn't seem to make any difference. I didn't feel tired at the end of the fight or anything. So yeah, it was definitely my mind. I just switched it and I felt amazing.
You know, a 5 week camp as opposed to getting a little more notice. You know, I think the Vegas odds makers had you as a bit of an underdog against Nam Phan. When they gave you the name, you know, how excited were you for this fight? What was it about this fight that maybe excited or motivated you?
Maybe the fact that I was fighting in China. You know what I mean? It was ever since I was a little kid. I always wanted to fight over in like the Orient. Do you know what I mean? So that probably motivated me a lot more to put on a good show in front of the Chinese fans. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, this guy's got 2 fight of the night bonuses against Leonard Garcia, a name that most, you know, MMA fans, not just hardcore fans, will know. You know, if you play the MMA math, all of a sudden, you know, you've become, again, relevant within sort of the top 15 of that division, I would have thought. But rumors have it that it could be the last time at Bantamweight.
I was thinking of dropping down to fly, but after my last performance, I think I'll give it a bit more time and see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So you can afford to give it a little more time. Do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see? You all saw it. You can afford to give it a little more time. Is that perhaps because you got some more fights lined up? Is this the point at which we can't answer that question anymore? You got a new contract.
Yes. I don't know if I was allowed to...
Well, I've said it. He's got a new contract. It's 5 fights. It's with the UFC, and you know, I'm a journalist. We get our sources. So you've got a contract. Again, you know, once that offer's made, what goes through your head when you get that call or the manager comes and says, look, this is what's been negotiated or this is what's been offered?
You know, I'm like, okay, let's go with it. You know what I mean? It's great news. It was the best news I had all day. Yeah.
But was there any doubt in your mind after that performance? Because again, the UFC have been pretty ruthless recently. You know, if they're not happy with, you know, a series of performances, they've been cutting people with fights left on their contract. You said that didn't play into your head, but you seem awfully happy you've got the contract.
Yeah, I mean, after the performance, after the fight, because I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but it was a good performance. So, yeah, it didn't really surprise me that I got another contract. Yeah.
TJ Dillashaw, I'm going to bring that up because isn't he fighting Henan Barrow next? I know that was a fight that you weren't happy with your performance in, that you felt that perhaps you gave him the fight as opposed to him taking it from you. Is that I'm not matchmaking, but you got to look at him fighting Brown and go, you know what, I've got a skill set to match this guy. I know I do. How hungry are you to make a run?
Well, I was sat down with my manager the other day and we kind of thought about it and said, you know what, let's fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? We might as well. If I can get my mind right, like I did in my last fight, I'll beat anyone.
Well, he had his mind right when we did the tap out challenge, apparently. Fucker. You say when my mind is right. What are the circumstances, perhaps, that have a negative effect? I'm not asking you to give details or make excuses, but obviously there was something different.
Yeah.
What was that?
The way I thought. Do you know what I mean? Rocky, he's very confident, within himself. And, I've had issues with like negative thoughts by myself. Do you know what I mean? And listening to other people. But if you just don't listen to anyone else and stay positive, man, I can beat anyone.
I'm going to ask another question that you probably might want to slap me for. Was there ever a time, we know sports psychology is becoming more and more and more sort of prevalent, especially within the combat sports. Was there any want or anything that might have sent you down that route to speak with a sports psychologist? Or
yeah, definitely. I mean, I've spoke to one before. Do you know what I mean? I want to get into that again. Do you know what I mean? To train my mind. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really been training it in a way like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if I can train my mind the way I train my body, yeah, it'll be just one. Do you know what I mean?
The fanboy in me goes, the thing that I find quite amazing is seeing what you guys do and the stage on which you do it, that you would have to fight through just, what regular people, I suppose, do, life. And I find it interesting as somebody who does as well and performs as well as you do in the cage would sometimes question yourself. Is that just part of being human, or is that just part of your psyche? Is that something that you've been battling throughout an MMA career? Is it constantly been something that niggles?
I don't know. Maybe it just comes from like my upbringing. Do you know what I mean? Because I've always been picked on as a kid, and do you know what I mean? Just a small kid. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. I never really had that confidence in me. Do you know what I mean? And through my life, I just built it up. Do you know what I mean? And I think fighting is a way of gaining that confidence as well. Do you know what I mean? And believing in myself. Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question that I know I'm not going to get an answer to, but who interests you now? I'm not asking you to call anybody out, but what? Now that 5 fights, that's a lot of fights. Mm-hmm. There must be somebody that whether skill set wise or ranking wise, makes you go, you know what? I'd love to get in there and test my skill against you. Yeah,
do you know what? There is a few fighters that are. That'll be a good matchup for me. I think Takai Mitsugaki, Sergio Pettis, I was supposed to fight him but got injured. That'll be a good fight. And Eric Perez, I think that'll be a good fight as well. Yeah.
There's 3 tastes. Eric Perez would be a great fight. Joe So, he's just done his job for you. Your job. Make that fight happen. Oh, that's tasty. Congratulations on getting a contract or renewing a 5-fight contract. We look forward to seeing you fight at least 5 more, if not, 5 more years in the UFC before we're done with you. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? Anybody you'd like to thank in leading up to the performance in Macau and beyond?
Yeah, cool. First off, UTC and UTC management. Forever, yeah. Everyone at Gym 1 who helped me train for the fight as well. Jamie Reynolds, who my cardio and conditioning. Rocky and all the other boys from the UTC, of course. They train with me and push me hard. You know what I mean? USN, Bad Boy. I can't remember. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We'll get a list should we need it. Vaughan, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Congratulations on a fantastic performance a few weeks ago, and we look forward to seeing you fight again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.